Welcome to my channel, everyone. It's Anthony TDG, or Anthony the Dubstep Gamer, and I am here with the Raiden guide. So yes, I am back to making guides. In this video, I will just go over how to build Raiden optimally for all kinds of teams that she would be a part of. So in this video, I will go over her best artifacts, weapons, and teams. So let's get started with an abilities explanation. Raiden functions as mainly a sub-DPS, using her elemental skill to apply lots of Electro, and doing decent damage to opponents. But when you use her elemental burst, she transforms into the DPS for the team by doing a big slash, and then doing multiple hits of damage that can hit pretty hard. And even more about the elemental burst, you'll notice this little ring around her, and that actually fills up if you do a burst from another character in the party, or if you just gain energy particles at all. And when this is full, her initial slash from her burst will do a lot more damage. Best thing is, she refunds a lot of energy for the team during her elemental burst. So she is a pretty good battery and sub DPS while functioning as a DPS sometimes, so this is pretty amazing. And of course, who wouldn't love a character who can pull a sword out of her But of course, without further ado, let's get right into her build. Starting with Raiden's best weapons, of course you have her signature weapon, which is pretty great and gives energy recharge and damage bonus, but there's always the catch, which is a free fishing weapon that is a very big pain to get, but is very worth it. It's very good on Raiden, but the thing is, it's very competitive with Xiangling because they both fight over who gets to have it at this point. So if you don't have that, or you're currently using it on your Xiangling or anybody who wants that, then a side grade to that would be Skyward Spine. Gives more base attack and energy recharge, while being a little bit less beneficial because it doesn't provide a burst damage bonus. But it's a side grade nonetheless. But if you don't have any 5-star options or you're out of the catch, you can always go for Favonius Lance. Can't go wrong with it on its energy generation, and you're going to need it for the teams that you use Raiden in, so it's fine nonetheless. But of course, go for the catch, it's the best weapon, and if you really insist on it, use Skyward Spine. But hold on a second, everyone, because this was all for Hyper Carry Raiden, and I never went over EM Raiden, and of course that is very amazing for Hyper Bloom teams. So, her best weapon options for that build would be anything that gives EM. So Contain Crossbeer gives some EM and energy recharge, but the best option is going to be Dragon's Bane because it gives a lot more EM. Of course, another option you could go for is Moon Piercer, but I'd recommend one of the other two more, especially Dragon's Bane. Now let's go over Raiden's best artifacts, starting with artifact sets. Now if you're going for Hyper Carry Raiden, her best artifact set is pretty straightforward. That's going to be 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate. It gives energy recharge and a burst damage bonus based off the energy recharge you have. And since you're always going to want to be stacking that on her anyways, because of the passive that gives her more damage bonus the more energy recharge you have, it synergizes pretty well. Now if you're using Hyper Bloom Raiden, her best artifact set is going to be 4-piece Flower of Paradise Lost. It gives up to a 40% damage bonus for the Hyper Bloom reaction, and it's pretty nice. But of course, the alternative would be the more resin efficient artifact set, which that would be 4-piece Gilded Dreams. It gives a lot of elemental mastery, which of course it synergizes pretty well because you're going to be stacking elemental mastery. Now, as for the best artifact stats, for the Hyper Bloom Raiden build, it's a lot more straightforward. You just want elemental mastery on every single piece possible to stack as much Hyper Bloom damage as you can. But for the Emblem of Severed Fate set for Hyper Carry Raiden, it's a little bit more complicated than that. If you're running low on energy recharge, you could go for an energy recharge Sands, as that would give you the damage bonus, but attack percent is pretty good. As for the goblet, there's a little bit of a split. You can go for electro damage bonus if you have enough energy recharge and attack, but if you're running low on that, you can go for an attack percent goblet, and it's actually pretty competitive. As for her best circlet, it's going to be crit rate or crit damage, whichever one you need to balance your ratio. With the build out of the way, let's go over her best teams. For Hyper Bloom Raiden, her best team is going to consist of a Dendro unit like Nahida, and 2 Hydro appliers like Yelan and Xingqiu. This is actually the best Hyper Bloom team possible in the game, and with Yelan and Xingqiu providing off-field Hydro app while on-fielding Nahida, Raiden's skill will be able to Hyper Bloom every single seed that comes down, and it will be happening pretty consistently. But of course, you can swap out some units, like if you don't have Nahida or you want to use somebody else, you can use Baizhu. He provides pretty good healing, which this team does kind of lack in defensive utility besides Xingqiu. Or you can swap out Yelan and Xingqiu and make an AFK team which consists of Nahida, Farina, Raiden, and Zhongli. You use everybody's abilities and the damage just happens for you. You don't even have to do anything. It's actually pretty decent and competitive with some teams. But of course, it's just more of a fun one rather than a really good one. But of course, if you want to use her her to her fullest extent as a hyper carry, her best team is going to consist of her, Bennett, and 2 other supports. Her typical best team would have her, Fujisara, Kazuha, and Bennett. Fujisara provides pretty good attack percent bonus and just some decent off-field damage. And if you have her C6, that's amazing because she'll provide a crit damage bonus for all Electro attacks. Kazuha will be there to swirl and buff, while Bennett will be there to provide that sweet attack bonus. But what you can do nowadays, now that Chevres is out, you can actually replace Kazuha with Chevres, especially if you have her around C6. Then she becomes better than him in single target scenarios. But of course, since this is overloaded, please don't use this in a team scenario where you're going up against smaller enemies. You'll kind of hate your life at that point. But for bosses, it's pretty amazing. Now, for the most part, she'll just be a secondary DPS or sub DPS in most teams that you'll put her in. One example is a Eula team, a team with Eula, Raiden, and 2 supports, in my case, Farina and Mika. All the other characters will be supporting Eula, and she'll do her damage. And when her uptime is over, Raiden can be there to do her burst and be a backup DPS for the downtime. And it actually functions pretty well. But that's actually going to conclude this guide. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, as I very much so appreciate it. And as always, take care and have a great day.